Hello. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Um, and I appreciate you spending your time with me. This is going to be part three, and I'm back on topic as far as the healthy relationships. So, you know, go where you feel good and where you're celebrated, and you'll be able to tell, you know. And remember, with every LOL, every ha ha, there's some truth in it, you know. So, like, I've had family members call me an Oreo. I'm black on the outside and I'm white on the inside because I'm from the suburbs and I talk the way that I talk. I'm sorry, I didn't choose this meat suit. I didn't choose where I lived, And it's, the ignorance, and they would laugh about it. That's what I was getting. And they would laugh about it or whatever. It's not funny. But that just shows their ignorance and, their mindset. And not everybody's like this, so please don't think it's a whole attack, but that's family members that are raised in the hood, in the inner city. But it's crazy because some of them had gone to school in the suburbs. Like, I'm from the suburbs, but they went to school like in like a Jewish community, so to speak, or whatever. I don't want to put the town out there. When I'm no longer around here, I mean, I put the towns out in other videos or whatever. Um, but and my family's from that town as well, so it's like they were actually one of a few black families in that town. And it's crazy because my mother's childhood home now is almost worth like $2 million, and it's just because of the address. When you Google and look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, like, ooh. But you know how that goes, just for the address. But um it says a lot about them than me, because it's like you want to tear me down for where I live, but then you live in the hood, but you're going to school in the suburbs, a better suburb neighborhood than I was raised in. And then let's bring it full circle. Although I lived in the suburbs, my mom was on Section 8. Now, my opinion, the way how I was raised, my household, Section 8 was just a stepping stone. Currently, I don't have Section 8, um, but it was just a stepping stone. And a lot of people don't realize that with Section 8, you can buy a house. You can get into a house on Section 8. You don't have to live in the hood on Section 8. You can go elsewhere. And anybody who does need Section 8, I don't know how it's going now with like the way how the government is and all that, but look outside of where you're at. So like, I'm in Massachusetts, right? So I live in um in the city. Not Boston, but I live in a city. In Section 8, there's no vouchers, right? Now, when I was in the shelter a few years ago, and my mother had told me that this is what she did back in the 80s, back in the 90s when she obtained her Section 8, she looked far out, like far out, probably an hour or two away from where I'm at, maybe even more, like the opposite side of Massachusetts. And she obtained Section 8. But people don't realize, and again, this is something that I can help, somebody out with. And even if you're not in Massachusetts, just wherever you're at, I have no problem helping out. But I encourage you to do your own research too, because people can lie to you. So she looked far out for the Section 8, but the Section 8 wasn't just for that town. That Section 8 could go anywhere in Massachusetts. So she obtained the Section 8 from a whole different housing authority that was far out, but then found Foxborough, Massachusetts, with the Gillette Stadium. That's where I was raised. I no longer live there, but that's my upbringing. Um, and it was nice. It was a townhome with a full basement, washer, dryer, 3 bedrooms, front backyard. It was enclosed, whatever. Well, enclosed. We had fences and all that. Now it looks like shit. Like, it's like, oh my goodness. But everything comes to an end. So I say that to say, you know, it will be your own kinfolk. Sometimes all kinfolk ain't skin. What is it? Is it all? is it all kinfolk ain't skinfolk or something like that? If y'all know what I'm trying to say, put it down in the comments. And if I got it right, please let me know. I'm going to still check to see what the saying is or whatever. Or is it all skinfolk ain't kinfolk? Something like that, but, it be your own people, your own family, your own friends, your own family and friends that will belittle you because they're self-projecting. And this is an aunt, a karmic aunt. You're supposed to be my aunt, who you're really calling me an Oreo. You think I'm better than you because my address was in the suburbs. But you went to school in the suburbs. Make it make sense. So go where you feel good and you're celebrating. Like me, whenever I see people, as long as it's genuine, and even the people, I mean, they probably want to get a high from me right now because of what I found out. Like I said, people are literally planning my funeral. Planning my funeral, and I'm alive. You know? Um, but I'm always one to hype somebody up. Hype me up. Hype me up. Because it's like, I want everybody to win. And I'm just a big ball of freaking love. Like, sometimes I give way too much love, and that was me of the past. I was a people pleaser. I love people more than I love myself. 1 second. 6:26 on the timer. Um, go where people are genuinely happy to see you. Yep. Grab your cookies and put it in the go where people are genuinely happy to see you and to celebrate you. And they don't feel like celebrating you is dimming their light, because it's not. Giving somebody credit, giving somebody an appreciation post, an appreciation text, just a shout out, whatever, celebrating somebody does not take away from you. If anything, it shows who you are as a person. You know, I'm selfless, not selfish, and that leads me to the next, which, everything should be a two-way street. You know, that energy should be reciprocated. It should be an equal give and take. Now, I'm not saying, hey, Kathy, I need you today. And then I'm keeping that mental note of, okay, well, Kathy, helped me out, or I helped out Kathy. Now, that's one favor she needs to do for me. Favor for favor. No, don't be like that. But just know, if I need you, or if you need somebody, that they will be there. And don't get it misconstrued, because sometimes people aren't always able to physically or financially, emotionally be there for you. We're still humans. We have our own shit that's going on behind the scenes too. Sometimes we just can't be there in that moment that you needed us. But when I can be there, and as long as I can be there, I will be there for you. Whether that's a celebration, whether that's a shoulder to cry on, you know, just an ear to listen. Sometimes people just want to vent and they don't want anybody to say anything back. Some people want sound, valuable advice, but the people that are around them, that's not advice. There's a lot of monitoring spirits. There's a lot of people who just want to know what's going on in your life, just to go back and talk about it in a group chat. Some people just want to know what's going on in your life, so behind the scenes they can block and manipulate your progress, your success. So please have discernment, with anybody, with any of these things that I have said and things that I haven't said. Anything that you've gone through in your life, and going forward, have discernment. If you know your mother or your father is shitting on your parade, they don't want anything good, to happen for you. Reevaluate that relationship, because yes, they did give birth to us. Or even if you're adopted, that adopted family, yes, they did take you in and stuff like that, but sometimes it's not for your better good. Sometimes it's just for that check. Sometimes it's just a facade. Back to the karmic aunt. I don't know if she still is. Well, yeah, because she has one of them, but she's a foster mother. But it wasn't to help out the children. And how I look at it is, not saying that people who aren't in foster care don't go through it too, but this is somebody who's already sucked out, taken away. That sounds so weird. Taken away from their own family for whatever reason. And then you would think that they're going into a loving family that genuinely cares for them, but with her, it's competition. you know, making fun of the foster children. Who, there was one poor girl, she was like 6 years old, and she had a speech impediment, and the foster Carol, the foster mother, um, would sit there and make fun of her in the way how she would say hamburger. Instead of saying hamburger, it would become a humburger. Now, she's 6 years old, 6, 7 years old. Even if she was 16 or 17, if she has a speech impediment, that's nothing of her fault. She didn't ask, hey, Lord, come out and, give me a speech impediment. That's just the way how it was. But why would you sit there and tear her down? And then when people come around, when people would come around, then Carol is literally sitting there, oh, say hamburger, and making fun of it. And because of who she is, people would laugh. But that's not something to laugh about, because if you don't act and react the way that she wants you to, then you're shunned out. Like me, I'm the black sheep of the family because I'm like my father. I'll speak out against her. You know, just because you were hurt and whatever happened in your life happened in your life does not mean that you need to treat people the same way. But there's a lot of hurt people that hurt people, and I'm always going to say that. There's a lot of hurt people that hurt people. And I've been hurt, but I turned my pain into a purpose, my pain into passion to help heal people, because I know how it feels to be belittled. I'm a young girl dancing, and they're having me, because I'm from the suburbs, I'm being made fun of for the way how I dance. But now in my adult years, everybody wants to see me dance, and not like on no stripper stuff. And no, not knocking y'all either. Shit, I love them strippers. Man, I love them strippers. Left cheek, right cheek, But when I was young, because I was from the suburbs, and because I'm the suburbs girl, so I don't have any rhythm, although I do, and they're from the hood, they're supposed to have rhythm. They would have me go against this girl who I thought was my friend, always putting us in competition. And I felt bad for her because she was heavy set. So now it's like, okay, you're making fun of me because I'm the Oreo, I'm from the suburbs, and then you're making fun of her because she's a heavy set girl, and she could still dance. We both could dance. But pinning us against each other. Even to a few years ago, in our adult years, being mothers, she had reached out to me and she's like, hey, am I talking proper enough for you? What does that have to do with me? I never spoke to her again after that, because you're still in the same mindset of when we were kids. And that's sad. So that's why I say maturity doesn't define age. Age doesn't define maturity. Neither do experiences, Because I'm 32. But I've been told even when I was younger that I have an old soul. And I didn't realize it and didn't understand it until now, So always go where the energy is reciprocated, where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And, you deserve peace, love, and happiness. We all do. Even the karmics. They don't want peace. They don't want love. They don't want happiness. They want chaos and confusion and division. And that's sad. If you live, like, let's say you're in your teens. If from birth until your teens it's been exhausting, why would you still want that chaos and confusion? At 32, if my whole life has been nothing but karmics and negativity and stuff, I want peace, love, and happiness now. In my friendships and in my relationships, platonic, romantic. I deserve a healthy, loving relationship with my partner. I deserve a loving, healthy friendship with my friend. I deserve a best friend who's not going to play about me. I deserve a lover who is my best friend, my lover, my homie. And I don't need 5 million. That's another thing. It's quality over quantity. I'd rather have two good, solid people in my corner than 20 million fake ass people who don't care, and they're all in a group chat talking shit. Oh, look at the way she looks today. Look at how she put up her hair. Look at how she's wearing this and that. And then it's funny to go back to the karmic. It's so funny how she would tear all of us down, but this is the one who literally would take the family members out to the restaurants, out to eat. And because she didn't have silverware at her house, she would sit there and tell them to steal the silverware from the restaurant. This is the same person who she's going to New York, to Chinatown, and buying, the name brand stuff at a discounted price. Nothing's wrong with that. But coming back and making it seem like she went to the store and got it. Who's going into Old Navy or going into these stores and running to the clearance rack and getting those items and stuff like that. good items, Old Navy, whatever, but come on, 15 on the timer.